Famous chocolate factory owner Willy Wonka is opening up his factory for the first time in years, and only 5 lucky people will be able to see it. Why? Let's read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and find out. Welcome back to BG's Books. I'm Mr. BG, and today I will be reviewing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl. So, this is my first Roald Dahl book. I've heard about Roald Dahl for a long time, and so when I found out that he wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory years ago, I was like, oh, that's cool. I discovered him in elementary school or something like that. But anyway, also, I quickly want to address my background change. Yes, it does look a little different. That's why you see this giant green thing behind me. That is my wall. I'm currently doing some repositioning of my bookshelves, but this will not be its permanent stuff. It will have a new layout in the near future, so please stay tuned for that. But anyway, back on focus. Yeah, I've been wanting to read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory for quite a bit of time, actually. I think at least the past couple years or so. And so I finally got the book, I read it, and then I watched the first movie with Gene Wilder, also known as Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Because back in 2023, I had seen the Timothée Chalamet-led Wonka, and I thought that was pretty interesting. So I was like, might as well read the book. So here I am, here's the book, and now I'm going to review it. But anyway, of course, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory follows a boy named Charlie who gets the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to tour Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Yeah, Willy Wonka had closed down his factory to the public years ago after a giant scandal has happened, which we will get into. And for the first time in decades or so, he is opening up to the factory, and Charlie is one of those people who gets to see it. So, of course, I'm sure you've already heard of the story. You've either seen one of the movies or maybe you've read these books as a child. I know that Roald Dahl is a very famous children's author or whatever. So anyway, I'm sure you've heard of the story for this book by now. But anyway, to further discuss what the story is actually about and how I feel about it, and on top of that, let's discuss what Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is actually about. So, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory begins with our titular character, Charlie Bucket, who is living in a very small house. It's specifically 2 bedrooms big, or just 2 rooms in general, which means it is wicked small, and he lives there with both of his parents, both his maternal grandparents and both his paternal grandparents. So, as I said, this house is wicked small for 6 people. And so basically, Charlie's father is the only one that really works, and I think he got laid off recently. His job was screwing the toothpaste caps onto tubes of toothpaste. All right, that's the thing that happens, but okay then. Anyway, I guess he got laid off from that or whatever, or I think he did. Anyway, regardless, their situation is very poor. None of the grandparents can get out of bed and haven't been able to get out of bed for 2 decades, I believe. And then anyway, on every year they have this tradition where on Charlie's birthday, they all collect up enough money to buy Charlie a single bar of Wonka's chocolate, and they just let him eat it. And so basically, as I said, they're very poor, but in the same town as their house, Willy Wonka has his very famous chocolate factory in there. And it has been closed to the public for several decades because there was a scandal that got out about some employees finding some secret recipes and then sharing it with either other chocolate companies or just people in general. So Willy Wonka just had enough of that and he shut down the factory to any outsiders. So only he and his employees, who we will later find out are Oompa Loompas, actually know what's going on inside there. So on the way to and back from school every day, Charlie passes by the chocolate factory, and he's just like, man, I wish I had some chocolate. So, of course, his birthday comes to pass. He gets the chocolate that I just said. And then after the birthday passes, we got some great news. Willy Wonka is finally opening up his chocolate factory for the first time in decades, and everyone is like scrambling to get stuff. And so, in order for this thing to work, Willy Wonka has selected 5 chocolate bars at random and has put 5 golden tickets in them. So, like 1 golden ticket per bar, 5 bars going across the entire world. Whoever finds the golden ticket gets a golden ticket. And those people who get the golden tickets can tour Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. So, of course, now the entire world is in uproar just to find these tickets. And so, basically, the first ticket is found by this boy named Augustus Gloop. He is a very morbidly obese child, I guess I can say, and he just loves to eat and eat and eat. And the second ticket is found by this very spoiled girl named Veruca Salt. She gets everything she wants, no questions asked. So her father runs a company. He pulled a lot of string. He's got every bar of chocolate in the world to come to their factory. So then she got a ticket. So there you go. And then some time passes, and the third ticket has been found. It is found by a girl named Violet Beauregarde, and basically her thing is that she loves to chew gum. In fact, she's currently chewing the record holder gum right now, or is trying to break the record with chewing gum. And so there's her. And then the fourth kid is a boy named Mike TV who loves everything TV, especially the violent movies and TV shows that TV will play in the 60s. So these are all just various kids from different walks of life, but they're all very either mean or evil or something like that. And so Charlie's grandparents are kind of hoping that he'll get the 5th ticket because he isn't spoiled or rude like the rest of them. So anyway, one day we're walking around the city, either to or from school. As I said, Charlie finds a dollar bill on the ground. So he takes that dollar bill to the candy store, buys a Wonka bar, eats it, doesn't find anything, and then he decides to buy a second one, and in this one, he finds the 5th golden ticket. Yep, so Charlie's now one of the main characters. So anyway, basically the instructions say that whoever finds this ticket, you'll be given a lifetime supply of chocolate or whatever you want from Wonka's factory. You're going to be able to tour the place on October 1st, which happens to be the next morning, or so on and so forth. Basically, you get a lot of stuff if you do this. So October 1st comes around, and then all the 5 kids meet outside of Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. And so, he meets them and all, and then it's off into the factory. And so the first room that we have here is, of course, the most famous one, which is the chocolate room. This is with the chocolate river, the chocolate waterfall, and then the bunch of candy in the ground and whatever. I do apologize if you heard a sound not too long ago. I don't know. If you didn't hear it, then that's fine. But anyway, back to this thing. And so basically everyone's just kind of having fun exploring the chocolate room. But soon enough, Augustus Gloop, being the glutton that he is, he starts just taking giant mouthfuls of the chocolate river and then falls in. But around this time, we meet these things called the Oompa Loompas, which are Willy Wonka's employees. And they're these little dudes who just run the chocolate factory along with Willy Wonka. And they just kind of do just that. And so long story short, Augustus Gloop, if you've seen the movies, you would know what happens. He gets sucked into a pipe and then gets taken somewhere. So then the parents go off after him with the Oompa Loompas. So now there's 4 kids left. So anyway, going into the next room, we have the lab room and stuff. And then this is where Veruca Salt gets her comeuppance. Not Veruca Salt, sorry, Violet Beauregarde. Sorry, I know what I'm doing, I promise. So anyway, this is the one where Wonka has that special candy that I think it's that gum that never loses its flavor or something like that. And so Violet, even though the gum isn't tested, she decides to try it. And of course, you know what happens. She starts turning violet in the face and then starts blowing up to the size of a giant blueberry and stuff. And so her parents and Oompa Loompas go with her to try and juice her before it's too late. So now there's 3 kids left. That was 4. This is 3. So anyway, now we are down to Veruca, Mike, and Charlie. So the next room is kind of a squirrel room where they make the nuts for the nutty chocolate. And so they're made like by these giant squirrels who just kind of like peel the acorns or whatever the nuts are found in, and then they put them in the chute to, go towards the chocolate. And then Veruca, she wants a squirrel, and so her dad tries to buy a squirrel, but Wonka says that they're not for sale. But, of course, Veruca, she just can't let the fact go that, she doesn't get what she wants. So she tries to just force her way into getting a squirrel. And long story short, the squirrels get mad and toss her down the trash chute. And so her parents follow quickly after. So now there's only 2 kids left, Mike and Charlie. So the next room passes by, and this one is basically first of all, they go in this thing called the Great Glass Elevator. So they take that to the next room. And anyway, so yeah, this one is the kind of a TV-ish room. Basically, it has a beam where you can put whatever you want into micro scale, and then it'll go into a pseudo TV thing. And of course, Mike loves TV, so that's exactly what it does. He stands in front of the beam and gets shrunk and gets put into a TV. So then his parents get him out. They're literally carrying him like this because he's literally like an inch or 2 tall. And so they're just like, okay, well, we got to stretch you. So the Oompa Loompas take the parents and Mike to go stretch him out. So then Charlie's the only one left and Charlie wins. Hooray! And so basically now everything is revealed. Willy Wonka actually deliberately opened up the chocolate factory because he realizes that he's getting old. He's a bit of an older man in the book, and he's not going to be around forever to run the chocolate factory. So who better to give the chocolate factory to than a child? And the only child that behaved, in this case Charlie, won the chocolate factory. So Charlie is like so relieved and stuff. He's so happy. He learns his entire family gets to move in and whatever. And so to go get the other members of the family, Wonka takes them in the Great Glass Elevator again. And then they shoot up into the sky, and then they just kind of go all around. And then meanwhile, we kind of see what happened, everyone. Mike has been stretched again, but now he's like 10 feet tall or something. He's rather huge. Augustus Gloop is just kind of covered in chocolate or something. I don't really remember what happened to him. Violet has been juiced, but she is permanently like purplish in the face. So she looks like herself again, except the purple. And then Veruca and her parents are just kind of, covered in trash and everything. So that's kind of them. But now we go back to Charlie's house where the family's just really surprised about everything. And so Charlie basically convinces them, hey, yo, guys, we can move into the chocolate factory. Mr. Wonka says we can. And then everyone's apprehensive. So what Charlie does is that he moves his grandparents' entire bed with them into the glass elevator and then shoves his parents in there. And then in the final shot of the book, the glass elevator rises up again, taking the entire family to their new home at the chocolate factory. But that is how Charlie and the Chocolate Factory ends. So overall, what did I think about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which was also my first Roald Dahl book? Well, I quite liked it. Of course, a lot of people are probably going to have conflicting views on the book, considering if they watched the movie or not growing up. I did, 16 years ago. I watched it just recently for the first time since then. So I don't know, I didn't really have a lot of nostalgia for the movie going into the book, so I enjoyed the book quite a bit. But anyway, yeah, if you ask me, I think the book is just a really solid tale about what happens with being a good child versus a spoiled/rude child. Because all the ones that were rude or mean or gluttonous or whatever they were, they kind of got disciplined by having whatever part of the factory kind of stop them from winning. And then Charlie, because he was the only nice one or the only good one, he of course won out in the end and won big. So I think that's a very good lesson for children, is that good behavior will be rewarded and bad behavior will be punished. So yeah, overall I just think it's a very solid children's book about about being good versus naughty. So, you know, typical Santa Claus thing, like if you're good, you're on the nice list. If you're bad, you're on the naughty list, you know, stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is actually a really short book. It's like just over 100 pages, I think. It has like 135, I believe. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, it is just a really, really fun book about good children versus bad children and how good children win in the end, because that is how morals should be taught. So I think this is fun for children to just read and be entertained and learn a good lesson. And I think this is also fun for parents to read to children and to be used as kind of an educational lesson for be rewarded if you're good, be punished if you're bad, you know, stuff like that. But anyway, so yeah, I really have nothing bad to say about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It is just a really fun book. I definitely want to not only reread it in the future, but also visit Roald Dahl's other books. Like, say, for instance, he made the BFG, he made James and the Giant Peach, he made Matilda, and he made a bunch of other stuff like that, or along the lines of that. So I would say I want to read Matilda next by him, because Matilda, you know, telekinetic girl, that's a lot like Carrie, which is of course my favorite book. But anyway, so yeah, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is a great introduction to children's literature for children who are just getting into reading for the first time. It is a nice little story about behavior. And also, I would just like to visit Roald Dahl again, because his books are just fun. They're easy to get through. They're not like complicated to understand like most of the stuff I read, like Dune or One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or something like that. But anyway, so yeah, I really have nothing bad to say about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Please go read it. And yeah, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is just a really fun book, so please go read it. But anyway, guys, that is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed my review for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. As I said, this book was really fun, and it really makes me want to read more Roald Dahl in the future. But anyway, yeah, as I said, that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please make sure to like, comment down, and subscribe down below if you have not already. I am getting very close to 300 subscribers. So I would be really grateful if you could help me reach that goal. But anyway, yeah, that is about all I have to say. I've been Mr. BG. This has been BG's Books. And remember, hey, look, it's a piece of gum. Huh. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm going blue.
Hey, Mr. BG, check out my new pen.
No.